Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Blessings to everyone. So one of the big themes that we always is coming closer and closer to our life when we get elder is death. And for many people, death is also a very fearful subject because it means it is the border of for most people, of the illusion that we know somehow we are into it. And for this reason, so many people don't know what is going after to be. You see, if we live in reality, if we are connected to reality, there is not such a border like death, a physical death, or any kind of border in that sense. It is as if you open the door and you see just as far as your eyes can take you. And what makes us blind not to see is, first of all, lack of faith that many people have. You see, when you do not have faith, when you do not have this possibility to see beyond your plate, what we say now, that you look over the edge of your own plate, then life becomes very small and very painful. And to have faith, of course, to believe in something that is not visible and that on a certain point will never be visible, is not easy. On the other hand, our mind is not visible as well, and we know it is there. Love is not visible. So all the things that we said they touch us the most are actually all of them not visible. Our teacher used to say, you are entering in a plane without seeing the pilot usually. But you know there is a pilot. And the same is for us living in this existence. There is a source and there is a force. And there is no source but that source, and there is also no force but that force. So death is actually a blind spot, you know. And we're getting regularly prepared for it when we fall asleep. We go into the unknown because our illusionary mind tells us we're going to wake up the next day. So it's not a good thing usually when someone experiences death in the sleep, because it is a confusing situation for that mind and in that moment usually. Also, accidents are not very likable because they happen too fast, and also then the mind cannot really digest what is really happening. The best, in fact, is a sickness that gives us the time to review and also gives us this easier passage to be making this journey to the other side. So there is no real other side. There is just the idea that there is another side. And I heard recently from I don't know who actually it is, from which tradition that person is, but he said a good thing. He said, dying means like the wave that you think you are comes in contact with the ocean and realizes that it has never been separate from the ocean, and so it starts to return. And so in that sense, we return to what is always there. And Siggy Jung was writing on his gravestone, a very, very beautiful thing that touched me very deep. And I want you to know that. And he said, wanted or not wanted, God is there. And this is what you will experience. So you believe or you do not believe, you will meet, because the source exists, the force exists. It's actually the only thing that really permanently exists. And so you want it or you don't want it, or you are wanted or even not wanted, but the existence is there. God is there. And this is the comfort for those who have faith. No. And for those who have not faith, they cannot find peace, because you see, peace is in reality, and it is something that is real. You see, it is not something that you just think it could be. It is not a choice. It's not an alternative way. It's not a philosophy where you can have a view like this or like that. It is an experience that every person does when they start to turn inside. Yeah. You will meet the source. You will meet the force. Yeah. And the force means that everything is directed through this force. No. And when we know that, that also gives us the peace, because this force is not just a force, it is an intelligence. It is a supreme intelligence. It is the highest intelligence that you actually can meet. And you will see then that what you know, or what we think we know, is nothing in comparison to what this intelligence represents. So meeting with this force inside of you is an overwhelming experience that gives you, after you experience it, gives you the clarity that nothing can happen in your life without that force, that nothing will ever happen without directed by this force. And then the question is only, is it a good force or it is not a good force for us? Of course it is a good force, because it is the force that brought us here, no? And what is good, let's say, in our life, that means you aligned it somehow with that force. What is usually not good in our life, it is self-created. There are exceptions, and this is what we call tragedies. Yeah. There are tragedies for some of us that we have to go through for whatever reasons. They are not easy to understand. But like Ibn Arabi said, stop asking why until you reach to this level where all the whys are answered. No. So there is not for everybody an answer, right? This we need to understand. This is why we cannot give a general answer on everything. No. But there is for every one of us a very individual answer. And that when you receive these answers, I promise you that you will be overwhelmed by the mercy, by the love, by the wisdom, by the greatness of how everything has been arranged for us in this world. And pain turns into happiness. All the so-called wounds turn just into a light and thankfulness, as everything then will make sense. And we need to understand that the path, the spiritual path, is an individual path. So even we would be surrounded by enlightened people, it would not make us to be also enlightened, because we cannot transmit, these people cannot transmit their truths directly to somebody's heart at least not for a permanent time. Yeah. It is our individual work, and that's why we say every soul is on its journey, and this we should never forget. No. So death is this last curtain that falls and breaks the strongest identification, and this is the identification with our body. For this reason, in our tradition, we say that when you master the body, that is actually the highest mastering. Yeah. Because this is the strongest identification. This is all there is, how we experience life. It is all our senses. It is all our brain. It is everything, you see. And mind is not so difficult to master, in fact. Yeah. It is difficult when we identify with the body. It is not difficult at all if we do not identify with the body. So the identification with the body is actually what creates all these fears and creates all this misery, in our lives, usually. Look at it yourself. It is always important that you learn to trust your own mind, because this is what is given to us also individually. Nobody has the same mind. We all have a very similar ego. Yeah, we all have similar wounds. We all have a similar psychology, how we function in our egos. But we have a very individual mind. Yeah. And that mind expresses itself in different ways. In Arabic, the word is akl. Akl has also this aspect of intelligence. So everyone has a different intelligence. The intelligence is not defined through a mathematical intelligence or a language intelligence. It is actually not definable what really is our intelligence in a higher sense. Therefore, never see yourself not intelligent. Everyone has a very unique intelligence. And what we need is to use this intelligence to find a harmony with the system we are living into it. As we are coming from a world where we were not in need at all to adapt to any circumstances in that sense, because we were living in the ocean. There is no need of adaptation there. We were living in a perfect situation. There is no other. There is no enemy. So coming here, we're coming in this challenge to adapt, to survive, and so on and so on. And all that creates all the story. We are into it. So death is a liberation, and it says in the Book of Love, and when you die, you awaken from this dream. Every soul awakens from this dream. The dream that we are separate, the dream that we are suffering, the dream, even if you can wake up, that we have a karma, that we have a past, and all these things. One day you come to understand that there is just an essential eternal presence. And this is it. And we are with it. We can witness it. We are allowed to witness it. We are allowed to be a part of it. And if we come to servanthood, if we come to being a servant to this presence, to this force, our life turns harmonious. So the pilgrimage has just been finished, and as millions of people do a certain ritual at the same time, it has a very strong effect on the field in this world. It is the same like Christmas or Easter. When millions and many, many millions, billions even, when we are participating in one ritual and are joined, yeah, then there is always a strong happening for all of us. No, it doesn't matter if we believe it or if we are ourselves thinking to be a part of it. We are a part in that moment, because when a whole group goes in one direction in that moment, we feel it. It is like an army that marches at the same pace, at the same speed in one direction. And when that happens, we feel that army. No. Even so, you may not see it consciously or perceive it consciously, but I can assure you that these last days and the time of Hajj are never easy days for anybody. No, because it is the days to know yourself. This is the essence of every pilgrimage. And therefore it is having its peak point on the day of Arafat. That means the day where you stand. And Arafat comes from this name Arif, yeah, that is knowing, no? So that is the day where you are supposed to see yourself, no? To have a look at yourself in a very, very strong way on a very special place. That also matters a lot. And there, on a special time, yeah, you receive all the support to know yourself more. It's very, very easy. It is almost forced on the pilgrims. No. And then as a ritual after, the men, they shave their head. No. Because it's a new beginning. It's a new start. It is a new life for those who really did the work. And this is why it also receives a kind of title. And this is Haji or Hajja. So you become a Haji. That means you did this pilgrimage towards yourself. And those of you who have made it, they understand that it wasn't easy. No, it's not an easy thing. It's actually quite hard also to meet so many various people, so many people of all kinds. Is an overwhelming experience that almost you can never have that in any other place really like this. And it is made in a circular way. Now you have to go all the time in circles. And then you come to this valley and you stop there. You stop for one complete day and something comes down. This is the meaning of every pilgrimage. And if you observe the year, you will find that all these big rituals, Christmas, Easter, and Hajj, will be always special times for every one of us. So I hope you can take some insight from it, and see you next week or whenever. Thank you very much for everyone, and for your prayers, for your good wishes, and from our side, all the best to you and your families in this day especially, and stay healthy and don't worry too much. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.